All right, what's up, everybody? Kyle Barboza here, bass player, music educator, and this walking bass exercise that I'm going to show you is going to start by just picking two measures of chord changes from any tune. Could be a blues, could be a standard, could be whatever. And for the sake of today, I'm going to take a 2-5 in the key of C major, so D minor 7, and then G7. Which would probably then lead into a C major 7, right? But I'm just going to take those two measures. And the first stage of this exercise is going to just to be coming up with a walking bass line over those two measures. That's it. You're going to actually like sit and compose a walking bass line. So, it's pretty quick, pretty easy, but take your time on it and come up with something that you think sounds cool. So, Here's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play, let's see here. And then I'm going to end on the C, okay? So here it is again. So I'm going to play through it. Okay, that's stage one of the exercise. Like I said, take your time with it. Come up with something that you like, right? But I'm going to now take a notepad, pencil. You can do this with a notation software like MuseScore or something. But I'm going to take a notepad and a pencil. I'm going to write the notes that I just played down, all right? Nothing fancy. So it was D, F, A, and then I did the little chromatic approach. So A flat, G, D, B. That was a high G, and then a low G. And then I ended on C. Okay, cool. I've got my series of notes there. All right, so part of the benefit of this exercise is already done. You came up with a walking line over these measures, slowed it down enough in your brain so that you came up with something that sounded good. There you go. You might have a new walking bass lick just from that, okay? But here's the real beauty of the exercise. Now I'm going to take that really good walking bass line that I just created, and I'm going to play it in eighth notes. Okay? So, let's see what we got. Oh, here it is. Okay, so swung eighth notes like that. I'm going to practice it till I got it down. Nice. Okay. You see where I'm going with this? Now you got a solo lick that you can play over this 2-5 change. All right? So now I'm going to take that solo lick that I just played in eighth notes. Now that would have playing it in eighth notes like that would have worked if my chord changes were 2 beats each. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. Now I'm going to do the magic stuff now. Now I'm going to alter the rhythm of it. I'm going to play around with the rhythm to fit it over 2 bars. Okay, so I can take the most basic way of doing that, for example, would just be play 1, a 2, a 3, 4. 1, a 2, a 3, 4, and then end it like this. Right? Okay, that's that walking bass line in eighth notes. But now if I start to spread the notes out, let's just take that little bit and just not start on beat 1. Check it out. All right, we'll start on the and of 1. 2, a 3, a 4, a 1. Not bad, right? Let's do one more rhythm. Ready? I'll start on beat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Not bad, right? It's already starting to sound like a decent bass lick. By the way, I am available for private lessons in 1.5 months, okay? Starting in June. So if you would like to work on walking bass lines, jazz improvisation, bass and vocals, funk bass playing, groove bass playing, writing bass lines, producing music with me, let me know. Shoot me an email. My email's in the description, and I'll give you all the information you need, and would love to start working with you. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so let's leave that there for a second. I'm going to come back to that in a second, all right? Also put it up an octave, by the way, if you want. Ooh, okay, not bad, not bad. Playing through the chord changes pretty well there. But here's like the third stage of the exercise now. Now I'm going to come up with 2 measures each of those chord changes. So I'm going to do a walking bass line, 2 measures each now. Okay, 2 measures of D minor 7, 2 measures of G7, and then I'm going to, maybe resolve it on the C. Okay, so here we go. Let's see here. No. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. We'll stick with that for now. Oh, no. Okay. I'm going to write that one down so I don't forget it. And then... Okay, cool. That's not bad. All right, so G. One more time. Okay, yeah. Now you see where I'm going with this stage. Now you have a full eighth note run through this 2/5 that you kind of just manufactured just by coming up with a walking bass line. And so now you have something that works twofold as a walking bass line and a solo line. Now this is the starting point here, okay? So this, as an exercise, this is for like beginners, intermediate, people that are just getting into playing through chord changes in jazz. This already is beneficial to you. Okay, this is a way to not only, like, when you're coming up with walking bass lines, you're going to come up with little chromatic approaches like this. That sounds great on a solo line, right? You're going to come up with arpeggiate. You're going to be arpeggiating the chord. Right? Well, that, like, things like that, I would have come up with that in a walking bass line. Maybe I wouldn't have come up with that on the spot if I were trying to just work, my improvisation over solos. But as soon as you slow your brain down like this, see, this is the key of the exercise. Before I hit the backing track and we see how my line sounds, and we expand on it for all of you advanced players out there. But the key of this is slowing your brain down to process. Part of learning how to improvise has to involve slowing your brain down. Because if you don't, you're just going to you do one of two things. You're going to just freeze up and you're not going to be able to play much of anything, or you're going to revert back to the same old licks that you've played 100 times before. But by slowing your brain down, you can come up with new, fresh material that you can then learn and internalize and speed up. That's what this is all about, and that's like one big part of learning how to improvise. Of course, we're gonna take everything back to the like kind of the core principles of improvisation in my eyes, which are rhythm, articulation, space, and pattern. Click the video if you want to learn more about that. But the language piece, learning new language, is the next step after that, okay? And as someone who's been if you're someone who's been improvising for a long time, that's really the new frontier for you, is new language. And you can acquire that in all kinds of ways, but this is a way to manufacture it on your own, and it's just a good exercise, to put into your practice regimen. But okay, so let's hit the backing track, and then I'm going to play with this idea, this 2-measure idea, even more. Ah, see that? Just moving those rhythms around. Take it up an octave. Okay, cool. So, sorry, my backing track changes key there. So that's just playing around with the rhythms of that first lick we came up with. Not bad, right? And after, obviously, I was resolving on the C major chord and playing around with that too. And again, what coming up with new language will help you do is like over a 2/5, for example, it's going to give you also a springboard to continue the phrase. So we've got the first part of the phrase. And then it gave me a little springboard, a little direction to go into my resolution chord. You know what I mean? So again, like this is just manufacturing fresh ways to come up with solo material. Let's take the second lick now. Now this one's for the more advanced players here, but you can, this is something that you can work out even if you're not that advanced. But I'm going to take the second lick and I'm going to move it over a few eighth notes. Okay, so I'm going to start it on the and of 2. So this is going to require me to learn the lick pretty well, which, I don't know, I might make some mistakes here, but check out what happens if I move it over. Watch. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Cool, right? Let's try that again. Okay, different resolution. 1, 2. I'm getting all these just by working off of this one lick. I'm getting all of these just by working off of. That was my original lick, right? I can start it anywhere in the lick and I'm going to get something really, really cool. This was just by taking 5 minutes to write down a walking bass line and now I've got a walking bass line that sounds good. So all of this just off of that one little thing. Guys, something I say a lot is that one riff is worth 1,000 other riffs. And the best way to practice this is when you learn a new lick or you manufacture a new lick in this way, internalize it 100 times. Like really, really learn. If you like the lick and you want to like add it to your repertoire, the first thing you got to do is learn it really, really cold. Okay, so I like this lick here. I really do. So I'm going to learn this not only in the key of D, I'm going to learn it in on the E flat minor. Let's see here. Sorry. That's in the key of D flat major 7. I'm going to learn it in all 7 keys and just have it down, 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 because once you get to that point where you're playing it without thinking about it, then you can play around with the rhythms. Then you can displace it. It just, again, it becomes endless, the possibilities that you can do with it. There it is, right? I got a new lick in my repertoire, so I hope you guys can take this and get some new licks in your repertoire. Hey, let me know how this exercise works out for you. Hope you enjoy this one, and happy practicing. Have a good week, everybody.